Boom. All right, so we're back. So this is going to be a part 2, I guess, of Universal Astrology on August 13th, 2020. I am new with this whole streaming thing, so I am just getting used to how the flow of everything works. And for the first time today, I have more than just my hubby in the chat rooms. And I noticed this, and I now am full-blown aware. All right. How do I donate bits? Manifest, I think you donate bits by first adding bits to your Twitch account, and then you can use them. However, I'm still very new to setting up my Twitch account, and so some things are totally understood by me, some things aren't. So I'm going to do this episode, and then I will get back into chat and kind of do some inner research with you, because I honestly have been kind of waiting for you, mostly, Manifest, to get back so you can kind of help me get this thing together, so it's awesome. So welcome to anyone who's new to the stream with me. I'm really hoping to build a community, and I haven't even invited her over to Discord yet, but something that's available for the inner community. Anyone who watches or follows me on Twitch will get invited to my Discord chat, where they can start having fun and talking and communicating with other astrologers and myself. And for those who are really, really interested in this stuff, there's a Patreon, and you can join a team. You can join the Deep Space Astrology team, you can join the Life Force team, or you can join the Observers, the Universal Observers team. So thank you for being here. Thanks for watching my channel. I'm going to get back to kind of looking at the astrology and what different activity is going on today, and just doing a little bit of research, generally a little bit of open research about what's going on in the Earth and the Earth's activity. So we already took a look at the sun and what's going on there. We know that there was a flare that took place late last night. Anyways, you can watch the other episode if you're interested in that. I'm just going to continue. We did take a look at the earthquakes and took a look at the volcanoes. We did find out by looking at Google Earth that, of course, the volcanic activity that's happening is mostly on the plate here that is connected to, what do we say, Venus, and then this top one up here being Jupiter. So Venus and Jupiter, that's what I was going to look at, I think, when we ended last episode. Correct me if I'm wrong in chat. Manifest, you're the best. Thank you so much. And I hope my alerts worked on the other screens. I know that I didn't see them because they weren't live, but hopefully they worked. Okay. So, that's right. Venus and Jupiter. So Jupiter is in Sagittarius, on fire, lined up with Pluto. We're still looking at that helio chart, sidereal, from this perspective. And then Venus, whoop, whoop, is over here with Chrion. Now, when in my study of astrometeorology, Chrion and Mars have a unique relationship, and Pluto and Eris have a unique relationship in relation to their orbit, and how they act, where they move, what they do, what they stand for, and their kind of unique relations. So Uranus being almost matched up with Neptune now, and Chiron and Venus being conjunct at 11 degrees at Pisces. Again, there's that 11-11. And Jupiter is pulling and really aligned with Saturn and Pluto. They are spaced out enough that they're not blocking each other anymore. When they were aligned, they were giving a straight power shot straight to the Earth. And actually, esoterically speaking, Pluto was rather blocked during that alignment. Now that things have moved away and Pluto, everything has its way of looking at us, and getting their energy through to us. Now that they're not in perfect conjunction, they're still close, but they're not perfect, so everything's able to get, nothing being blocked. Remember in a previous episode I did earlier this week, we talked about how Mercury was out of sight of us, out of sight of the outer planets. So Mercury of mind is kind of being blocked this week from really any connections out there other than Venus and Neptune. We're looking at Jupiter, though, and we're looking at Venus, though, because of their power over our tectonic plates, in particular, our volcanic activity. And I'm saying this is a direct association, but I think it's something to consider. That the, esoterically speaking, rulers of those areas and those plates on Earth, spiritually speaking, are what's influencing us is these two right here. And they are not in perfect alignment with us or anything, but they're darn close to aligned just in their own. So just something to note, I guess. It's kind of interesting. We also looked at yesterday too how close in proximity everything is and has been for the week. So if we go back in time a little bit, Mars was ahead, and then we've got Mercury creeping around the corner. Then Venus and Earth met up in May, and they continue to move around. And now, boy, they're kind of all close together, right? I mean, they're right in that same area. So we're having a lot of the same effects, So another thing to note here is when the sun does pop off, it's flares, and or it's emissions, it's ejections, it's CMEs, whatever it is. So since everything is spinning around, what ends up happening is, so let's say we have a flare pop off right here, poof. Well, it's spinning, so it's actually spraying this stuff while it's moving. So a jet kind of comes out, but it's not a straight line. So if we have a flare come out right here, boom, it doesn't go straight out and keep just going straight because the Earth's moving. So that flare, that CME, whatever it is, will poof, and then continue to be trailed out, right? So it actually ended up looking more like it would come out behind it, boom, and leave in the track. So if something came out right here, Venus would definitely be affected. Whereas if it came out over here, both Venus and Earth and Mars would be affected. To be honest, Mercury and Venus get blasted with stuff from the sun all the time. But they don't have an atmosphere to protect them like the Earth does. So when Earth gets hit by sun stuff, we actually have an energy bubble, basically, that protects us from those direct hits. Mars has a little bit of an atmosphere. It's nothing like ours. But Mercury and Venus, honestly, on the inside, they get directly hit. Now, let's translate that to what that means to us internally. To us internally, we live on Earth, and so the inner planets are usually considered anything inside the asteroid belt, and the outer planets are considered anything outside of the asteroid belt. However, the sun's inner planets are the classic ones that we have studied the longest because they can be seen by the naked eye. And so astronomers of our history and our ancestors have been able to see them for a long, long time. What's more interesting is that, so we didn't even know about Uranus, Neptune, Pluto until very recently. What's more interesting, and now that we know what science has proven, is that the sun's energy field can reach out all the way past Saturn, at times it can include Saturn in its energy field. When the sun is at its peak and it is doing its thing and it is on fire, right, and it's got its whole field available, it can reach out as far as Saturn. Now, not to say that things that the sun pop up don't reach all the way out to space, because as you can imagine, so we have a CME, it hits all these inner systems, that mass continues to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. So all that stuff is still in space here. So it doesn't matter whether or not Uranus ever gets a direct hit from anything, because for it to hit something that's way out here, the sun is already going to have done cycles, and the mass or ejection, such as a CME, continues to grow, expand, and move out through space as the planets are then moving towards constantly different areas of space. Now, another note is that we as a solar system, the sun and the earth, are also moving through space. So we're moving through all kinds of stuff from our sun, from other stars, from stuff that happened who knows how long ago. We can be affected by that as we move through space and we move through these pockets of different energies and radio waves. And then I'm talking about science that is very, very new, things that is just now coming out. If you watch Suspicious Observers at all, you learn a lot about that. They're talking about the Doppler, the dipolar of like the entire like space as we know it, of our universes and galaxies. Like, okay, not universes, our universe with all the galaxies in it. Like we're getting really close to understand how this plasma system really works that we are living in. So just for funsies, this is our galaxy, but there's definitely things outside of our galaxy that we can see, and there's tons of different objects that are not part of what we have going, what are directly inside of our own galaxy. So these are all representations of that. These objects are definitely not within our galactic plane. Super interesting stuff. So when we're looking at the inner planets, technically speaking, to Earth, anything within Earth, including the sun, would be considered a personally inner planet. Venus and Mercury, meaning. Anything outside of that, even Mars, Ceres, Jupiter, and the asteroid belt, they're still within the sun's inner matrix and inner system. And they follow much of the same laws, and they have a huge play on our planet because they're within that inner circle that the sun is. However, again, Mercury and Venus are the inner planets, and what that means to us on the inside is that we are responsible with our actions through Mars to go out there and be a warrior, and with Jupiter to go out and use our creativity to find a job, have a life, contribute to the world, take actions, be responsible, things like that. And then we get out farther to Jupiter, who deals with time. He is a time lord. So when we're dealing with Saturn, we're dealing with responsibility, duty, loyalty. And these are all aspects that very much pertain to our outer world by using our inner world to do so, by bringing what is inside to the outside to be used for the whole of everyone, of the bigger life. So Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn are definitely to do with the inner and outer life coming together and being worked with together. The outer planets, like Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, we weren't even conscious of until very recently. Okay? More interesting as well, we'll just get into it more tomorrow. I'll spend more time on this stuff in tomorrow's episode from 12 to 2. For today's episode, we're really just concerned with understanding that these inner planets are getting direct hit from the sun. Always. Anything that the sun is doing, there's a direct relationship. It hits directly onto the surface layer of Mercury and Venus with no way to block it whatsoever. And if we look at our inner lives and our inner soul and spiritual lives, we can definitely see, there's my suspicious observers, we can definitely see and feel those effects instantly in the spiritual realm. If you are paying at all any kind of close attention to your inner world and your inner feelings, you can't hold back inner feelings. You ever get pangs of desire, pangs of inner passion, pangs of fear? You know, think about how quickly shock can hit you. Those are the types of things that cannot be avoided or shook off. There's no time in between when they happen. You are immediately affected by whatever that force is. And so in the same way, Mercury of mind and the Venus of heart. Now, if we look at our own bodies, we see this. Venus of heart, Mercury of mind. These are the two instantaneous, constantly in motion, constantly being affected, not at all protected in themselves. Like, the mind is not built in with self-protection. The heart is not built in with self-protection. They have to work together. They have to be integrated with the soul and the personal experience for them to be controlled and by the soul. The only person that can control any person's mind is the person that's ability. Now, we can talk about mind control and the Matrix and all of that, but that is simply the illusion that Neptune plays. And we didn't even know about Neptune until really recently. So of course we didn't know about the Matrix and the illusion and the control and the systems and all this stuff until we realized the outer planets. We realized that it's not just this inner sun solar system, that the sun reaching out to Saturn and its rays getting that far. Until we really started studying the sun, we didn't really realize what CMEs were, and we didn't really realize how massive they were. We didn't really realize what kind of the constant storms and effects that we were under from the sun until we started the sun. And we're like, wow, these massively huge explosions are happening, and we are traveling through them in our spinning ball in space. And I just think that this stuff is totally awesome. And the trouble is interpreting it to how it means and what it means for you. For me, you're getting a little bit of what this all means, big picture, in little parts and pieces in little videos. So I'm just going to start blawing it out so that everyone together, we can all start trying to put together the pieces. And I really, really am hoping to build a community so that we can work on this stuff together and really, really grow it and understand it more. So I'm going to call it for the moment and get off the recording. So if you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, and you'll be able to see more. And you can come on over to join us live on Twitch, on Discord if you would like to join the community, or you can go to Patreon and get all kinds of hooked up with joining a team and actually getting involved in this thing with me on a regular basis. So thanks for watching. Hope you have a good one.